Transcripts tab at the top, you can search by keyword. So if you want to stay in the know about local politics, Fact TV has you covered. Check us out at factdate.com. What is Fact TV? For starters, we're not a traditional television station. Rather, we facilitate your stories and events. Fact TV is not a production company, but our staff can show you how to participate. Fact TV is your community resource. It's what you dream of and what you produce. Fact TV is here to help you be part of the community. Your participation is what makes us what we are. Sign up for a producer's workshop and come attend one of our media mixers where you can rub elbows with other local media makers. Synergy in action. Please share this and help get the word out. Did you know Fact TV?
I'm calling this meeting to order. It is 6 p.m. on Tuesday, August 18th. Welcome everyone to the Bellows Falls Village Trustees regular meeting. We do have a quorum. I have heard that Mr. Pichette will be a few minutes late. I'm hoping Mr. Mashore is okay, but we will move on. The first order of business is to approve the special minutes. The minutes of the special meeting of Monday, July 13th. And that was just to set the tax rate. Have y'all had a chance to take a look at those minutes?
I was not present at that meeting.
Oh, then
You have to wait for Taylor or?
yeah, we don't have a quorum to approve those minutes, so I'm gonna postpone that.
You did not approve them, or you were not here?
Oh,
No, this is the first meeting we've had since we had that meeting, and we don't have a quorum to approve, so we're gonna have to postpone that,
until Taylor gets here.
yeah, until Taylor gets here, so we'll circle back to that one. If I forget, somebody please remind me. But you both were present for the
Yes.
regular meeting on Tuesday, July 14th, so, wait a minute. On the agenda, it has the wrong date. I think we can still review and approve these meeting minutes. Unless any members of the body object.
I do not object.
Yeah, all right. Did y'all have time to take a look at the minutes? Are there any amendments? That you'd like to make to them? Any questions about them?
No.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the Tuesday, July 14th, regular Bellows Falls Village Trustee meeting.
So moved.
Jeff?
A second?
Sam seconded, thank you. All in favor of approving the minutes for the regular meeting of Tuesday, July 14th, 2026, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Sounds unanimous. Thank you, everyone. Any additions to the agenda? Hearing none, let's move on to public comment on items not on the agenda. Everyone gets 3 minutes per person. Raise your hand, I'll call on you. Ms. Wright, hello.
Hi, I only have one. It won't take that long. Just because it is not on your agenda, that the Bellows Falls Ordinance Committee has completed their initial research and has sent a report of such to the manager for your review. We also have all the additional backup materials if you want copies of those. I'm just putting it out there that we are ready to move forward when you are. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you so much. Yes, I look forward to reading over those materials, and that sounds like something we should put on next month's agenda. So I'm going to make a little note of that. It is now 6:03 and Taylor Pichette has joined us. Welcome.
Oh, sorry, I'm
It's
late.
okay. It's all right. You're here. Welcome. Okay, so ordinance. Committee. Okay, yeah, we just, let's give you a moment to get settled. I'll see if there's any other public comment. Yes, sir. Can you state your name for our clerk, please?
Mike Fredette from 3 Colony Road, Bells Falls. I'm inquiring from the meeting in January 12th. about the starting of the replacement of the water line on Colony Road. When that might begin.
Okay, that sounds like something that would be a DPW and a select board question, am I correct in that?
So Walt Travis from the water
Oh, that is
department.
us, okay.
I can provide a little bit of information, but not the exact date that you're looking for. One of the things on my manager's report is to tell you that the grant for that was approved, that the engineering group has sent over their contract, it's on my desk, Dufresne Group. I met with the head of the water department and Alyssa, the finance director, and we went through the documentation. I had some questions for the chief engineer who's been responsible for the agreement. She turned those around and then she went on vacation. So I think we are all set and it's ready to be signed. And then that was the last thing that we needed to do for the grant funding to be made available, is my understanding.
So we'll still be done this year?
I think I don't want to speak out of turn here because I'm so new that I don't have that specific piece of information, but I believe that this is a project that has to be done by the end of the year. I believe.
I think so as well, but.
Yeah, I talked to Travis,
But
but
if you want to leave me your name and telephone number or put it on a piece of paper or an email address, I'll send you a note on that.
I appreciate that.
Sure, yeah.
Do you need some paper?
Go ahead, so.
No, I have a piece.
Okay,
Great.
yeah, thank you for asking. And thank you, Aaron, for helping out here. Any other comments from the public?
Yeah.
All right, seeing none, I'd like to go back to approving the special minutes of July 13th. So we're going back to item 2A because now we have quorum of the folks who were here to actually review, possibly amend if necessary, kind of approve those meeting minutes. Mr. Bichette, are you ready to do
Yes.
that? All right, so yeah, so right now we're going to review the special minutes of, the meeting minutes of the special meeting from Monday, July 13th, which is when we set the tax rate. Have you had a chance to review those minutes? All right, I will entertain a motion to approve or to amend if necessary.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Sam.
Seconded.
Taylor seconded. All in favor of approving the minutes for the special meeting that took place on Monday, July 13th, indicate by saying aye. Aye. It's unanimous. Thanks, everyone. And so now we're going back to staff reports, which is number 5, and we have a manager's report.
Quickly, we approved the other minutes.
We did before you got
Did we
here.
amend them at all?
We did not amend them.
Could I make a couple quick amendments? They are very fast.
I think we just reconsider, right? Yeah. Yeah, what do you got?
There's a random number 4, bullet point number 4 is removed, but the 4 remains.
Okay.
And then right
Good
below
eye.
that in number 5, we said the town council, and that is a council, like a group of people, not like a lawyer.
Yeah, COUNSEL,
CEO.
CEO, something like that.
SEL, SEL, you're right.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
That was all, just.
Okay,
And
thank you. So,
I propose that we make those amendments. To the minutes.
all right, so we have a motion on the floor from Mr. Bichette to amend the July 14th minutes of the regular meeting as indicated. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second, thank you, Sam. All in favor of amending the minutes as indicated by Mr. Bichette, vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstain? No, that was unanimous. Thank you for your attention to detail. Anything else before we move on to staff reports? Right, we have a manager's report. Mr. Pat, take it away.
Sure, very good. So, already stolen the thunder out of this manager's report earlier. The report from the water department. And that was for Kissel Hill and Colony Road, just the water main replacement. So, if you have a, Mike Fredette, did you have the contact that you wanted?
Yep, I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay, great. So then the other thing that we're working on is a,
May I
Yeah.
pause you just a second? I'm
absolutely.
sorry to interrupt. It is 6:09 and Wade Mashore has entered the meeting. Welcome. Sorry, back to
very
you.
good, yeah, so, the development office working to support a plan provided by Aldrich and Elliott from USDA Rural Development for the wastewater plant. And they came in and provided a high level of detail regarding the trashology pilot, where that is with the EPA and the state of Vermont, and also what the likelihood is of the funding source from USDA for two things. One, the components of the facility that are reaching their end of life through aging, which is the smaller portion. I think it's around $1.6 million. And then there's the trashology pilot and the dryer, which is another $6.5 million project. I had asked them to come in and do a dog and pony for you folks tonight and give you a similar accounting of where things stand that I received the other day, because I thought it was really interesting and there's a lot of good information that you would appreciate. And I got a reply back that said that they're waiting because the letter has gone off to the EPA, and we hope that the state of Vermont will have some visibility on where the EPA and the state of Vermont shake out sometime in September. So they're suggesting that they come in September. So they're not here tonight.
Okay.
They're gonna come in at your next meeting, if that's okay with the board.
Yeah,
And they'll give you, I think, a pretty comprehensive rundown of that project, that it looks like, and Josh can be here to help frame that out for you.
all right, yeah.
So then this is another instance where we can talk about the fact the website is live. We've had a lot of good feedback and we're making updates as we go. But we'd like to encourage people to continue to send in their suggestions, their feedback, any updates, requests, and fixes that they see, broken links and so on. We're still in the process of, that's going to be a continual process going forward. And we got a lot of really good suggestions. A lot of them were in-house, internal to the staff. We had some great stuff coming in from the boards. And, but we want to encourage people in the public or on committees to send in information or feedback.
What's a good way for members of the committees and the public to send that feedback?
Right on the taskbar right across the top, it gives an email address for the development assistant.
So
You can email her directly.
thank you. Yeah, thanks. developmentassist@rockbf.org is the address. And yes, the banner is there.
So just click on
thank you.
that and we're taking it and we'll be all set. So that's wastewater and water. Also under staff reports, the police chief is here tonight. The trustees, you have a letter that you can discuss. If you're good with the letter, I haven't heard any requests for changes. So if you're good with the letter, we'll sign off on that. We'll send it back to Rockingham so they have that in their hands. It's very simple. It just simply says you supported exactly what the minutes say, that there was a consensus that you support the idea of the pilot, that you're gonna meet with Chief Bemis. Chief Bemis is here tonight under staff reports to have a quick conversation, and then they'll be able to receive your letter and then really acknowledge that they have a choice of vendor.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, it is under other business coming up soon, that pilot letter.
Okay, that's
Under
great.
8A, yeah.
So, yep,
Excellent,
but
thank you.
the chief is here under the staff report area to chime in. I did, for some reason, it was supposed to be on here, but I'd invite him into my report to talk to
Sure.
you if that works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Chief Bemis, welcome.
Thank you. I was coming more to answer any questions any of you might have had about the pilot or what our ideas are. We're looking and hoping to get between 2 and 4 hours, a day, and onto the pilot program, but within the first month or so, we will know if that is too few, too much, and it's about just getting our feet wet in the first month or so to do that, but that is our plan, is to try and do 2 to 4 hours a day on the pilot. Our idea is we're gonna do some traffic enforcement in some of the areas that we hear complaints about and have heard complaints about. I've talked to the state police about responding to calls that they receive, and that they would refer the calls to us. If it is a large investigation, say a multi-vehicle accident, things like that, more than likely they will take it if that would eat up, 20, 30 hours or something in an investigation. If we have talked that they would still handle that more than likely, maybe with us assisting, or going to it. But it'll be the first month or so to just to see what those hours work, if they do work, if they don't work, and to respond to calls for service and, to be out in the town, to assist.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just making some notes of questions that I have. I guess I'll just jump into them. So you said that you're gonna start by doing 2 or 4 hours a day from,
Between 2 and 4 hours, yeah.
okay, and are those hours gonna sort of be staggered at different times of the day to sort of see where you're most needed?
Yes,
Okay.
it'll be whether it's at night or whether it's during the daytime. It's not gonna be like a 4 hour block that somebody goes out, does it, and then comes back, and then we don't respond back out. It will be to respond to the calls that come in, assist the fire department, highway if they need us, and ambulance if they require assistance too. So it's not gonna be just a block of time and then we not go back out, go out and do what to assist them. Now, if it is to monitor traffic, run radar or something, that might be a block of time that we go out and do that, but that does not. If then a complaint comes in or a call for service or assist to an agency, we would then respond to that too.
And then log that as, you know,
Okay.
yeah, okay. And then what about for dispatch situation? If somebody from outside of Bellows Falls calls during the hours that you establish, how are you working with like the regional dispatch so that you're getting the calls that are coming out of your regular service area, into rural
So
Rockingham?
that would probably be state police. So that's why I contacted the lieutenant. That if there are calls for service in Rockingham, that the dispatch at state police will contact our dispatch and we would be dispatched out to those calls.
Okay, and then what happens if there's, say, a conflict, like say, you or your officers are doing radar elsewhere, a call comes in from the Vermont State Police Dispatch, but then other calls come in from specifically for Bellows Falls. Have you worked out how you're gonna kind of triage those?
Well, we would triage as we do now. There are times that we have 2 or 3 calls that are lined up there, or we have an arrest and the officers have to deal with a situation and we have 1 or 2 calls pending here. We're certainly not going to abandon the calls in Bellows Falls. We're going to tend to that. We will usually have 2 people on, 1 will be in the village, 1 will be out. We will not be just sending a single officer out to do a 4-hour block and nobody here. There will be an officer here. That said, if the officer needs backup, if they're up on 103 or Route 5, the officer may go up there, but it's not going to be all of our officers outside of the village, so.
Got it. Excellent, thank you. Sam, do you have any questions for Chief Bemis?
Is this something where you would be discussing it with the officers, so they would be able to give you feedback as well in terms of how things are working?
Oh, we've all discussed it to the point of, you know, of, how it's going to work, how we're going to try and, integrate it into having two officers on, which we do now, but if one was out, one would be here. And we would not, you know, we would not all be going out to run radar in, you know, one part of the town or something like that. That would not happen. It will, I mean, it will be a little different. It'll be a little bit of a learning curve, but not that much. I mean, we still respond out if say the fire department needs something at roadway, we will respond up there to assist them as it is now. When the building was on fire, the two of us that were on duty here went up there and directed traffic. When a call came in here, we responded back once the situation was there. So we do that already, but it's not necessarily a patrol, but that was an instance where both of the officers went up there because there was nobody else to direct traffic. There were fire trucks coming in and people going by wanting to see, when the roadway was on fire.
And if a trustee or a select board member wanted to do a ride along to sort of see how things were going, is that something that
Sure,
maybe not within the first couple of weeks, but down the road would be available?
yeah, absolutely. Anybody wants to.
Okay.
we can have that.
Any other questions, Sam?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Taylor?
My first question, which we hadn't asked you, we thought this was a good idea. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, I know that sometimes, state police, have a huge area and a lot to do, and sometimes it takes them a while to be able to get to a complaint. I think we can certainly help out. Fire sometimes, ambulance needs assistance, motor vehicle accidents and stuff. I think you described the one time there was a motor vehicle accident up on Route 5. The trooper had to come out from his house in Queechee, to come down to Route 5 to assist them. So, I think it is a good idea. Yes.
We thought it made sense, but I thought we should check with you too
Yeah.
before we were in for. How long is the pilot program, the idea for it to go run for?
90 days,
90 days.
3 months with both, give or take.
And I was just worried about cost. Have we gone over the price for the pilot program?
Well, the manager and I have discussed that and we're working on, what it will be for that. Rockingham already has a line item for police services where they contract with the sheriff's office. But as we get into it, we will see how many hours that it's taking us and how many hours outside of, it will be to, and the cost of it for. Will be, so when we say 2 to 4 hours, that may be more than we need. We've got to get our feet wet in there to see where we go and how we do it. You know, to give you a good cost and a good time frame that we need, maybe more, it may be less, it depends.
I was wondering what's they currently, what they get for hours from the sheriff's office and what that line item is or what the cost is that they're
I
paying.
believe it's 70 an hour, that they do, and I believe they have $6,000. I believe.
Isn't it something like 6 hours a month, if I'm remembering
Yeah.
correctly from?
It's as far as I know, unless it's changed, it was like 2 hours a week.
Right.
Oh, okay, so more like 8 hours a month. Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Chief Beamos, Taylor?
Wouldn't that cost us a lot of money? Wouldn't that mean we're paying for this pilot program? For the most
Well,
part?
I think, and we can document it, I think we can do it, for less than $70 an hour. And like I said, we worked at it to decide how much hours we need out there. If it comes out that we need 2 hours a week, we will bring that back and report that back, but I think it will be more than that, and if we do try to do like 2 hours a week. I don't think that would be a good test of a program or of us being out there as a.
Well, won't we run through $6,000 worth of work in like 2 weeks at that rate, 3 weeks?
I think it will be, I think it'll be a little bit longer than that, but it will be more than the 2 hours a week that the sheriff does, yes. It will cost them some, but managers and, Alyssa and I, looked into, we probably can do it for somewhat less.
Less hours,
No, less than what the
Less
sheriff.
what the sheriff.
less per hour,
That's why.
but we're talking about 20 times as many hours, right?
We are talking about more hours, yes, and if it's too much, then that's why we want to try the public, we're trying to take small steps. Toward it, to see what it does, and if it costs too much, or it's too many hours, or it's too few hours. We will know that, we will have the data, and then we'll go with that. And if it means we cut back on our time, we'll cut back on our time. The select board doesn't. Like that, so it's not that we're sticking to this $1,000 budget and saying, this is it, this is the only amount that we're going to. We're trying to find out what the town needs for services and what the town wants for services. We're not going in there and saying, oh, we need a ton of money. We're trying to go in at a piecemeal effect to see what works.
Mr. Pat,
So I just wanted to point out that, a couple hours a day, if it's a dynamic situation and you're not every single day, you have about 60 days worth of dollars at around 50 to 50 per, so. Which is kind of roughly what I think, but we're not doing every single day. Because some days are quieter. And then some days we'll get busy, so if it's dynamic based on, dispatch for calls for service, sprinkled in with some trolls, we should have enough to do what Chief Bemis is talking about during that time frame. And the other key thing is, this is going to be right in the middle of budget season, so we'll get a really good snapshot of what those costs are. We'll come up with a formula based on the amount of time for calls for service. We'll get a much better view of that. And then as we're building our budget for the following year for Rockingham, we'll be able to give them some insight into, what we think the pilot is suggestive of for next year's budget. And that's really the key thing in this whole process.
thank you.
This is. I'm sorry, are you?
Do you still have?
I do have concerns relayed by citizens, certainly. We were saying sort of Rockingham currently budgets $6,000. If they don't want to increase that price, then yeah, that would be, 30 to 60 days to 2 to 4 hours, right? So maybe a third, maybe 2/3 of the time, if they feel like they should go above and beyond that, or if we feel like that would be necessary, I just don't feel like the Bellows Falls citizens should pay for that.
Oh, no, absolutely not. The hours that we spend out there, it's the town of Rockingham, that we're not volunteering. We're not trying to make money off the town of Rockingham. But we're gonna have to look and see how much the calls for service, how much the control of speed enforcement and assist to other agencies, say the fire, the ambulance, might be. But no, we're not looking to make Bellows Falls pay for our service in the town of Rockingham. But we're not trying to make the town of Rockingham pay for a huge amount of services they don't. To look into this, take baby steps to see where we're going.
And there's not an assumption that coming out of the pilot, we're gonna be using our existing staffing level to be providing additional service outside necessarily.
Not necessarily.
So it may result that we end up with another officer obviously a larger budget, but being funded, that change in the budget being funded through the town rather than the village,
Spreading it over more constituents.
right?
Yeah.
So during the study, is there a consideration for? I mean, I'm assuming 2 to 4 hours a day those are officer hours, not 4 to 8 for 2 officers,
No, that's 2 to 4 out for 8 officers.
for 1 officer, yeah. So during I know that overtime and things like that have been a concern in the past, and the staffing the way it is currently, is there a concern for how this might impact
We're not
payroll
looking to
and
do it
whether
as
that's gonna be?
Yeah, we're not looking to do it as an overtime detail. It is to, when we have the staff here, to be able to respond to calls or to patrol out there for speed enforcement stuff. So it's not we're not looking to make it an overtime detail to cause the town to pay more or for the village to pay more on it.
Did you have other
I did,
questions or
yeah.
concerns?
Yeah, I'm wondering, continue to wonder about the numbers, because 2 to 4 hours a day. For 90 days is $9,000 to $13,000 at $50 an hour. And I just don't know how we plan on implementing that with $6,000, if that's the budget
I've
line.
tried to answer that because
Yeah.
my sense is it's not every day. Right, when you're responding to calls for service, you will have some days of the week where you don't have calls for service. And so as we go through the 90-day time frame, we will accrue some days that we don't actually respond. And then we'll be able to say, okay, now we can plan for a detail for
I'm
speed.
mostly confused about that. So we're doing 2 to 4 hours a day, or if there's no calls out there, then we wouldn't do anything out there on that.
So what he
particular
talked
day.
about, Taylor, was a dynamic approach, because some part of it is based on calls for service. That's how the police department works, is responding to dispatch. So if he's making arrangements to respond to dispatch through the state police, that would be on an on-call basis, right? So you might not get a call for Outer Rockingham. I mean, people may not know that it's going to be available from this time frame to that time frame. So it's more about, that's why it's important to look at overlap with other internal agencies like fire and ambulance and so on.
So just as the manager said, we're not saying every day we're gonna be out there for 2 to 4 hours. There are gonna be days that we are busy in the village, and we're gonna stay in the village, and we can't respond out there if all of our officers are dealing with a situation if we have it here. And there certainly are days that we do that. And state police would respond is what my understanding of it. But we're not looking to do 8 hours a day on a patrol, sending people out there. We came with those numbers with the idea that may be about what it would take to run a response and a patrol in the town. We will see by the numbers, we will look at the metrics, and we will decide what we need and what we don't need, and if the town wants to pursue it or not. And if they don't, that's fine. If they do, then we will come up with the numbers, and we will have some information for them at the start and through budget season. So
What would we do? So for $6,000 at $50 an hour, they would be paying us for 120 hours of work. So I guess that's what I was wondering about the 90-day time frame. What would we do if we got to 45 days and we'd done 120 hours worth of response, since it's ad hoc and we don't know and we're
I
guessing it's
would
gonna
call
be.
that a success.
Alyssa, I think you have something to say.
I just want to ask, will the officers be tracking that? Should I have a special assignment or a special time code
We
for
will.
when they're in Rockingham?
But we will put a directed patrol, whenever we go out, to Rockingham, so we will have the data for that. We will punch a card for a directed patrol, and it will be, so if would respond to the roadway because there's a fight going on there or the ambulance needs assistance there. We would punch a card for directed patrol going out there and we would punch a card for the incident itself. The directed patrol would show how long it took, how many officers were there, and then the card of assisting the ambulance would show what we did there. It would, the directed patrol will do that, so.
Okay, so we don't need to track it separately in the timesheets.
We could, but probably the directed patrol will be able to do that and we can do it either way, but it.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you. Taylor, do you have other questions?
Well, still the last one, what would we do if we got to 120 hours and used up all of the funding? Would we keep going with the program?
I mean, the whole idea is for us to gather data. So if we had that much activity, because everything with the police department is activity driven, so that's the whole point of tax dollars in the police department is the amount of activity that you get that breaks out across all of those different calls for service types. Everything from domestic abuse all the way down to theft or, you know,
Parking complaint.
parking complaint. I mean, it's A to Z, right? There's a whole list of different types of activities. And, you know, part of the model is to show Rockingham, an established baseline for their need on one hand. And also everybody knows now as a result of the sheriff coming in and sharing with you, from his perspective, that the Bellows Falls Police can provide more activity than the sheriff can or that the state police can. And I think that's been well understood for a long time. So we're pivoting and looking at whether or not this Bellows Falls as a different vendor for a dollar amount. So if it turns out that the dollar amount gets used up very quickly, I think the Rockingham Select Board would look at that and say, well, it's a good thing we're in budget season. You know, we have to look at that very closely. If it turns out that we get 90 days and we've got $6,000 worth of a body of work, I think we also have something there. So if, it really is about collecting the data. And I don't think it's really about the 90 days per se. It's about, what is the activity level like? My expectation is that there's a bit of a ramp, right? As people get used to seeing officers out and about, there might be a slight step. Maybe not a huge step, right? Because it's not a permanent thing, but there might be a slight step up in calls for service, in which case we want to map that as well. So it's not only the amount of total dollars or the amount of total time, it's also, is there any change in intensity? Is there a change in awareness in the community? And we obviously want to get community feedback as well. Some people could be totally against it, some people could be totally for it. So we want to get some of that as well.
Thank you. Taylor, do you have other questions?
The same one. With all that in mind, I do think it's advantageous for Rockingham to contract with Bellows Falls Police. I think that it would be advantageous for them to find out the demand that they need. I think the Bellows Falls citizens are saying they should pay for that pilot and we shouldn't. Seems like they're paying $6,000 for the pilot. So my question is, once we used up that $6,000, I would think that we wouldn't continue to go out there because that would be Bellows Falls.
So I'd like to add something.
So it sounds to me,
Basically, what's gonna happen is the $6,000 is used up. I would assume that the manager's gonna tell the select board and they're gonna have a decision to make. We're 35 days into this. Do we wanna spend another 6 and continue it? And then you and I, as village taxpayers, will pay for better than half of that anyway, and they'll move on with it. I don't understand why it's so difficult to comprehend
that's my
that.
question about the pilot. Is that in the pilot program? Is that part of the pilot program? That's exactly my question. Are we going
Yeah,
for 6,000?
They're gonna address that situation if they get 45 days into it and have a question. They're gonna have a decision to make. Hey, we're at our $6,000 mark. And based on what the manager and the chief can advise them, they're gonna say, well, we really probably ought to go another month. And let's cough up $5,000 more and do it.
Thank you. That is exactly my question. I want to ensure that that is the process.
That's the way I interpret it.
Thank you very much. Ray.
Is that, am I interpreting that right? That's the
Well,
way I
mean,
would
it's
think.
really up to the select board from. Rockingham,
Yeah, at
but
the end of the
whether-
day, they're
whether they
gonna-
Wanna call it at that point in time and say, that's a lot of
Right,
data.
or say, hey, this is good, let's,
Let's
you
keep
know,
going.
we really wanna, let's run this for another month and
Yeah.
see what happens.
I think it's also important to remember that all of us sitting in this room, we're not just Bellows Falls, we're also Rockingham.
Right, we're all gonna pay for it.
Yeah, so we're gonna pay for it in different ways. And
Separate
we
fees.
also, we have access to the select board, not just as trustees, but as citizens, and we can say to them, hey, what's the plan here? What's going on? So your questions are good, but I think everybody in the room has answered them to the best of their ability now. And if, you know, if you feel comfortable voting on this, we could sign this, then we can move forward. But yeah, we're collecting data, and the dynamic that has, you know, that word that's been used in this room isn't just about collecting the data, it's the dynamic between Bellows Falls and Rockingham and this entity and the select board and all of us with each other. It's an ongoing process.
So I think we should do just what Wade said, is clarify that the current pilot is gonna be using up to $6,000, but not necessarily, like, we'll guarantee $6,000 worth of service. But not 90 days. And if they got through that in 45 days, they could reassess and see if they wanted to pay for another 45 days. If they only got through 5,500, but I think Wade's point about just clarifying exactly the process that you put out. And that's why I was asking, is this 90 days? Because the cost would explode. So the pilots would probably clarify, hours rather than time.
It's a good point, and I'd like to put this on the record, because I think this is something that I'd like to share with everybody. You know, my idea is that budgets are finite, and when you get to the end of the budget, you stop. You know, and so, because I certainly want my staff to know that, hey, you don't just overspend all the way past your budget, you have a budget. You know, let's stick to our budget. So I think, that's my philosophy on the budget, so I think we're going to. I think Wade's absolutely right. If the select board wants to look at spending additional funding and they can find a place to pull that and transfer it over to that line, I mean, that would be their prerogative. But, you know, I really think, Taylor, that we're gonna end up with a ramp where we're gonna have, you know, a slight over a period of time, a slight increase. Now, and if I'm wrong, well, then that's great data, and we'll just parse it, and I'll come back during month 1 and month 2 and give you a report on that. That'll be part of the manager's report.
And
Yeah, I would like
I don't see this letter as a completion of all the terms either, so
None-
we could certainly keep the budget as something to consider when we get to the point where we are.
Yeah, the
Put it
point of
together.
this was to tell the Rockingham Select Board that the trustees, because that's what you said in your minutes, was by consensus, you were strongly supportive of the idea. So we want them to have something that they can hold on to that says that to them. That was the second phase. And then you've met with Chief Bemis, you know, and you've talked a little bit about things. So the next thing is, I think, you know, Saxon's River might want to sit in on it. So the question is, should it be a special meeting? I don't know that we want to wait for a tri-board meeting, but to actually hammer out some of these things, and I think, you know, Taylor, you've got some good ideas there. We can have the select board from Rockingham actually speak to what they think that they might want to do. I can bring back the concern, or they can watch the video. I'm sure they'll watch the video. But we could talk about having a special meeting so that you can actually get to the parameters, because this is just we support your interest letter. That's all it is.
Yeah, I definitely support a meeting, to get to those details, and I agree, this is us just saying, yeah, let's keep moving forward.
I think
And
Saxon's
it's a
River,
work in
again,
progress.
the last tri board had suggested that they would be interested in, you know, listening in or attending, or, so it might be nice to invite them.
Mhm.
They have a budget as well. So they could choose to do something in between the two other entities. It could be that the objective during budget season would be to figure out, you know, one, the need, and then two, what can the budget how can we set up the budget to be strategic about having, service without breaking the bank? But also, find the right kind of funding to put into the mix so that Bellows Falls can do whatever planning it needs. The Bellows Falls PD can plan whatever it needs. To Jeff's point, you know, looking at staffing, if you're down a man and you're trying to, you know, now you want to be able to look at, okay, we have X number of dollars of revenue that could be coming in to offset the budget. That's healthy. Both of those organizations have a budget right now, a line item. So if Saxon's River is at all interested in changing their vendor, I think it's an ideal thing for them to be a part of.
And would it make, so what I'm hearing from you is that waiting to the tri-board meeting is waiting a little too long, because that's,
Well, actually,
About
it's
a month
September
at a time.
29th, which I thought it was actually in October, so I apologize, but
yeah,
maybe, I mean, the 29th is not too far away now.
yeah. Yeah, instead of having a whole separate meeting, and also instead of doing it at our next meeting, because then that wouldn't necessarily grant the Saxons River trustees standing in our meeting. Yeah, perhaps that would be a good
The
idea.
chief and I can work up some sort of parameters offline and send them around informationally. And then, we can take individual comments back without you guys talking to each other. And then see if there's anything that we can, so maybe we could bring something into that tri-board meeting.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have other questions?
No, I just wanted to raise that. I'm sorry that it took so long to get around to that. I think this is a great idea. I think this letter obviously contains none of the details, and it's just our statement of support, which I think we should do, and I think we should do the program. I thought this was gonna be our only opportunity with the chief as well to go over those details, and obviously townsfolk had said the current budget of $6,000 will cover very few hours. Make sure that we are not doing this pilot way over those hours so that the people of Bellows Falls, and I think that's a reasonable thing, and that would be very easy to get into the eventual language. That if they would like more than, if they want to put more into the budget, they're welcome to, but if they don't want to, then the Bellows Falls folks shouldn't subsidize that.
Sure. I think the chief and I will absolutely take that under advisement.
Yeah, and thank you for asking questions, and thank you
Mhm.
for also collecting constituents' concerns and bringing them here. So, yeah.
I think it's a great idea. Attention to detail is always sticky but worthwhile. So I want to make sure that we didn't have people come back and say, you didn't even look at these numbers and you promised we'd do this for 90 days and what's the cost? And they're currently getting what, 2 hours a week or something like that. And so if we were to,
And just for speed patrols. So it's very limited.
I think it's a great idea to do this transition. I think it will be very wise for everyone involved, once we get there. In their current budget, they are not paying for a lot of police services. So unless they want to change the budget, I don't know.
Let's see how people
Yeah,
feel
that-
as we go.
Remains to be seen. Thank you. Mr. Dunbar, did you have any other questions or concerns?
I am all set.
Mr. Mashore, your turn.
I only have one. Based on this letter and, you know, the back and forth that we have to do, what's our roughly anticipated start date?
Well, I guess it depends on if we have something that's ready to go on September 29th. We could start October.
Start in October, yeah.
Yeah.
Early October?
Yeah.
The one thing that if we get too far into winter, the numbers might be skewed.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
With accidents and so on.
Accidents and, or inside.
Yeah,
The
it's not-
first snowstorm.
Every season has different highs and lows, different things, yeah. But, yeah.
But
So I am.
we'll see how it goes.
Excellent. I want to check in with the public and see if anyone out there has questions or comments about this agenda item that we're currently on. I see none. All right. Erin, anything else for the manager's report? Thank you, Chief Bemis.
And no, I do see that we have the pile letter under other business, so
Mhm.
that'll be up to the trustees, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for all of your labor. All right, no other staff reports, so let's move on to reviewing and approving the orders, bills, and warrants, which I have here in my hands. I'll entertain a motion to approve the orders, bills, and warrants.
I move that we review, approve the bills and warrants.
Thank you, Jeff. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Wade, second. All in favor of reviewing and approving the orders, bills, and warrants indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
That sounded unanimous to me. Thank you, everyone. I'll sign these and move them along. And now we are into business. Item 7A is appoint Aaron on the water infrastructure loan.
So you have a document in your blue file, which is the one on the bottom. And it's for the, Thistle Hill and Colony Mill water, that's the one you're looking at.
Mhm.
Yeah. So they just, it's just an update that says that I'm the manager now, I'm the old manager. So they just need you to sign off on that as the trustees for the water department.
Okay, and is that something that we should make a motion on?
You could.
Wouldn't hurt. And so that would be a motion to appoint municipal manager Aaron Pat as the alternative authorized representative for the water infrastructure loan, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so that sounded like a motion if somebody would like to make that.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Sam. So the motion is to appoint municipal manager Aaron Pat as the alternative authorized representative on the water infrastructure loan. I'll take a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jeff. Any discussion on this motion? I see none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That sounded unanimous to me, and so,
Just for anybody who's sitting in the public, that's from the state of New Hampshire.
oh, okay. So, thank you. And so we just sign those and get them back to you.
Yeah, I'll get it back in the packet and we'll send it on to them.
Okay, great, thank you. We also have to ratify authorized signers, that's business 7B. I have a motion here. And it looks like we're gonna ratify it at the next meeting, so,
Ratifying it from the last.
That's one.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, let's try that again. What's going on?
So this is something that you've already voted on,
Oh, right, okay.
and now you have to ratify it because it wasn't on the agenda the last time.
Oh, okay, so, I'm changing this motion to just replace approve with ratify. Okay. I'm gonna make the motion because I have it in my hand. I move to ratify the authorized signers on behalf of the Bellows Falls Village Corporation in matters relating to all current and future Vermont Bond Bank bonds as Alyssa Harlow and Kathleen Kelly, and the callback designee as Aaron Pat, as noted on the authorized signers certificate as proved by the Vermont Bond Bank.
Provided.
Sorry,
Nice,
it's a typo. I'm always a copy editor,
Now,
so.
interestingly, we want to point out that that's their typo.
Oh, well then, thank you. It's not
I don't
our
think it-
typo. We know
Oh,
better
I
than
think
that.
that-
So yeah, as provided by the Vermont
Okay, we did.
Bond Bank. So that motion's been made by me. Wendy, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Wade, second. Thank you. All in favor of the motion to ratify the authorized signers on behalf of the Bellows Falls Village Corporation in matters relating to all current and future Vermont Bond Bank bonds as Alyssa Harlow and Kathleen Kelly, and the callback designee as Aaron Pat, as noted on the authorized signers certificate as provided by the Vermont Bond Bank, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Great, that sounds unanimous to me. Thank you, everyone. So there's more things to. Yeah, okay, that doesn't need us to sign it. All right. Other business. You know, I'm gonna pause everyone for a moment. I'm gonna start passing these around because you all can sign them while I'm doing this meeting thing. We haven't gotten to this one yet, so we won't do that.
No, start with you, we'll move on.
Work that way.
Y'all doing okay down there?
Yeah,
All right,
we're good.
hey, other business action needed. We need to nominate a trustee to the AI Policy Subcommittee. If you remember, that was a conversation that came up at the last tri-board meeting, and then at a select board meeting, I think they did the next step. And so, is there anyone who is on this committee, I'm sorry, in this trustees board who would like to serve as the trustee representative to the AI Policy Subcommittee?
Wayne?
Yeah, are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Cause I kind of want to do it, but I shouldn't right now. I have too much on my plate. Who would like, who would like to, was that, did I hear
I nominate Taylor
as what?
as our AI policy subcommittee member.
Jeff has made a motion to nominate Taylor as the AI Policy Subcommittee member. Would anyone like to second that?
I'll second that.
Sam seconded that. Thank you, Sam. Any debate? All in favor of the motion by Jeff Dunbar to nominate Taylor as the AI Policy Subcommittee representative from the Board of Trustees, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Thank you, Mr. Pochette.
Thank you.
And here we are again with the pilot letter. We are under other business 8B. That would be the Bellows Falls Police Department pilot program. We are going to sign this letter because we don't need to take a vote. Yeah, we've already made the decision. We're just signing this, and this is the letter that we discussed
You
earlier.
had the motion last time. It's in your minutes.
Thank you.
I would not, I would propose and suggest that we do need to vote on it. We haven't seen this language when we had a conversation last meeting, nor did we vote on this last meeting.
It's the same as, it's pretty much the same as what's in your minutes, if that makes you, gives you any comfort.
Summarized in the minutes, sort of our conversation summarized and
Yeah,
then
so
translated here.
in the minutes, what it says, what you said was that you were of a consensus that you support the
And this isn't a contract to do anything, this is, hey, we like this idea, let's talk.
I would propose, I would move that we just simply edit to remove 90 days. Doesn't change the meaning whatsoever, but gives us less commitment as we just discussed. It's not necessarily, we don't want to guarantee 90 days, it may be much less, but it wouldn't change anything, so I would propose that we just remove 90-day pilot and say, we reviewed your letter and we like the idea of a pilot program. And we can leave it to them to vote on how much they want to fund it and how many days they want and that for later details, but.
I respectfully disagree, and of course, we could take a vote on this. 90 days is what the discussion has been about all along, and I think if we're going to change it now, I think it requires a bigger discussion and possibly warned as such. That's my opinion, and I welcome any dissent.
I agree to leave it at 90. It's gonna get all ironed out anyway. It's part of the process.
Are you willing to concede to consensus, or do you want to make a motion?
I made the motion, hasn't been seconded, so.
What was your motion?
To remove 90-day from our letter.
Okay, is anybody gonna second that motion? The motion dies on the floor. Thank you for trying.
That's okay, needed to be on the record.
Exactly. This is how we do it. So we're gonna sign this letter. Let's move on to 8C. So I'll pass this around if you wanna start that, please.
Do we still not need to vote on that letter?
We voted, yeah, we voted on it at the last meeting, it sounds like to me.
We didn't have that letter at the last meeting.
Would you like-
I can concede.
Okay,
It's
well,
not gonna make a
would you
difference,
like to
but-
make a motion that we sign the letter? I mean, if anybody wants to make a motion,
I'll move that we sign the letter as presented, a letter dated August 12th, 2026, as presented at this meeting.
thank you, Jeff. Do I hear a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Seconded by Wade, all in favor of signing the letter as presented at the
The letter dated August 12th, 2026, presented at tonight's meeting.
thank you. All right, all in favor of that motion, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain?
I'll abstain.
All right, one abstention, and that would be Mr. Plachette. Thank you. The motion carries. And now it is time for an update on the police and fire station conveyance.
So, I've reached out and I have not heard back from the town council on that matter. I've asked him a couple times. And, sorry to report that I,
Is town council Stephen Kuda?
That's you.
Are we able to bug him?
we do, I just sent him a note, actually.
Yeah, what do we do now? Because it's my understanding that that's sort of the piece that we need to be able to move forward,
Yeah,
right?
I've asked him twice in the last couple of weeks to send me either a status report or a draft or something.
And no response at all.
No.
Well, now it's a matter of public record. So, whatever that's worth. Yeah, what do we do?
I am arranging to talk to him in the morning on another matter, so I'll bring it up and mention that we're looking for something. Right.
Yeah, I mean, especially, and I'm sure that you will convey this to him, but at the May annual meeting, the Bellows Falls Village voters were really interested in enabling the trustees to make this conveyance as we see fit, and without his input, we're sitting on our hands and nothing can move forward. I know, but I want to put it into the record, you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
and I could use more interesting language being from New Jersey, but I won't. So thank you, Mr. Pat,
I
for,
have the flavor and I have the mission. And I'm happy to carry the message.
thank you, sir.
Because like you, I feel like time is of the essence.
It is, and especially as we head into budget season and then we have an upcoming tri-board meeting. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you, sir.
Maybe not tomorrow, but perhaps at some point, it's worth a conversation regarding who is our town council.
And I find that I use that term, and sometimes we have several different people. So I know, for instance, we have someone who we work with pretty exclusively right now for HR, separately for those types of issues, for personnel. And we have another person that we're talking to about some very specific property related issues, like 1 Center Street or some of the other things that the fire chief has been working on. So I'm hoping that we will be able to triage Chief Bemis, Chief McGinnis, and the zoning administrator and myself. So we might have more than one person in a particular time, but I think I also hear your message, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so that's our update for now. Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from the board about this issue?
Are there any budget items for the building that are waiting for this conveyance? I mean, potential repairs. But
I don't think so.
excluding that, are all the all the other fire department budget items off of Bellows Falls. Are there any budget items that are waiting for this conveyance to move from our budget to
I don't think it's a budget related issue right at the moment. I think it's just simply the
just the
the
ownership fee?
documentation, and there was some normal due diligence from the standpoint of the deeds, and I had sent those over. The original purchase of the land, so. There was a meeting and town council was interested in coming up with a plan to address the use of the different parts of the building. In the simplest, but most complete format possible. So I thought when we were in the meeting that was pretty well
Yeah,
spelled out
It was spelled out.
Mhm.
and agreed
We
We
to.
were there.
Yeah, so
That was what? 6 weeks
It
ago?
was before I went away on vacation.
May I ask what was spelled out?
the use of the building and the respective spaces for fire and for police.
Yeah, common areas like kitchen.
Yeah, and I think it was pretty straightforward, so. We're just waiting to.
Yeah, it seemed like he had pretty much everything he needed that day to move forward.
I
with it.
have another matter to talk to him and he's messaging me to talk to him about, so I'll bring it to his attention that. The level of urgency was not met.
Thank you. Anything else about that item? Anything from the public? All right, let's move on. We were to have a wastewater treatment plant presentation, but from what I understand, since the presenters aren't here, we're going to skip that one. However, I do see an item on here, the last one under other business, action needed, establish a wastewater treatment plant working committee.
I can speak a little bit to this, without Josh being here, or the engineers. But the purpose on this is to drill down on the wastewater plant has two key aspects to the engineering study that is being worked up and has that Aldrich and Elliott have worked up. And the first one is to address aging components of the facility that are in need of refresh, just due to their age. And then the second is for the dryer, which is removing all the water out of the sludge and making it so that it's an offtake agreement for farmers can take that. But that particular dryer that we have is a used model because the original one had issues. So the original one is sitting on a pallet and this other one is in its place. And the plan is suggested by the staff as well as the engineering company is to purchase another new model from a German company. And that particular portion of the plan has some offtake considerations long-term. And so that has to be looked at by the working committee and then and understood. And I think that they will talk to you a little bit about some of the options that are available and if there's any concerns about whether or not those are long-term options or not. So that's a key aspect to look at when we get there. But the other one is that the new dryer is just really, really expensive and the payback for what we're saving on liquid sludge if we were to ship it out is around $15,000 a month, but at 6 million plus for all that part of the upgrade, there's no real time frame on $15,000 a month. Even so, it's like 45-year payback, and stuff only lasts for about 12. So That's something I think that the trustees and the wastewater treatment supervisor should drill down on and really kind of get an understanding of
Yeah,
how is that going to be handled going forward and how we're going to work on that.
thank you. I think because the presentation hasn't happened, unless anybody strongly disagrees, and I welcome dissent, I prefer that we table this until we get the presentation so that all of us have a little better idea of what we're getting into before we consider whether we want to be a part of that working committee.
Or who on the board should be part of it. You might find that certain strengths are needed, but you won't know that
Yeah.
until you've had the presentation.
Absolutely.
This one.
So I would like to move to table it and get that on the record, just so it kind of keeps sort of as a procedural matter. So I would entertain a motion to table establishing a wastewater treatment plant working committee until we have the wastewater treatment plant presentation at one of our meetings.
I'll make that motion.
Wade, thank you. So the motion is to table establishing a wastewater treatment plant working committee until we have the wastewater treatment plant presentation. Would anyone like to second Wade's motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jeff. All in favor? Oh,
Aye.
any discussion before we vote on that? Okay, thanks, everybody. All in favor of that motion, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any abstentions or oppositions? None. That is unanimous. Thank you, everyone. Let us now review future agenda items. Our next regular meeting date, because we are now, as we indicated in our reorganization at our last regular meeting, we are meeting once a month regularly. It's on the second Tuesday of the month, right here, 6 o'clock. So our next meeting is Tuesday, September 8th. I got an email from Betsy that at our next meeting, not this one, because I received it too late. The Bellows Falls Area Development Corporation wants to form a community development committee. They would like a rep from the trustees. They will meet and discuss development projects within the Rockingham community. And so I'd like it on the next agenda that we appoint someone to the community development committee. Do we want anybody from there to come in and talk about that? Should we invite them, or does everybody have a good understanding of what we might be signing up for?
I think if they could give us a little bit of background, I mean, committees are sometimes productive and sometimes not, so it'd be good to find out what it entails.
Good point. Thank
What
you,
their
Jeff.
vision is.
Yeah, and especially, how often are they meeting? How long, yeah, so could we invite someone from the Bellows Falls Area Development Corporation to come and either give us
Is that for
something?
us? Oh, yeah.
No, I don't think
That's Brad,
so.
that's Brad.
Yeah, I saw Robin Sweetapple
Okay.
in the email, but Betsy will have the information.
Okay, but see, or is
Yeah.
Gary part of that?
Gary
I-
would be,
Yeah, probably, yeah,
Okay, so maybe Gary could come in and find you some background.
yeah, that would be great.
Okay. very
Thank
good.
you, and thank you, Jeff. So
Can you, I'm sorry, Madam Chairman, can you give me the acronym again?
it's, I think it's BFADC.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Yeah. I could forward you the email if that would be
Great.
helpful.
Yeah,
Let me
thank
make a
you.
note to do that.
Bellows Falls area community development.
I think it maybe, I don't want to get it wrong, so I don't know.
Area development.
Development Corporation.
yeah, BFADC.
Okay, yeah, all right, thanks, everybody. You mean everything doesn't have to live in my brain? Oh, goodness. Other agenda items, as Ms. Wright indicated before, the ordinance committee is ready to present some information, so I'd like to have them on the agenda to review that at the next meeting, please, and then the wastewater treatment plant grant presentation, if possible. Sam, do you have any additions that you might want to add?
I was gonna follow up on the e-bike ordinance information. So,
Yeah, maybe it's a good time. Ms. Wright, is that is that gonna be part of the review about the e-bikes?
believe it is,
Still with us?
since I'm on the ordinance committee,
Yeah, oh.
I think
Sorry.
that's what we're talking about.
Apologies, I'm sorry, Sam, I forgot that part. I'm sorry. Please accept my apology. That was just my brain kind of spazzing out in a moment. So let's say yes.
Okay.
All right, sorry about that, Sam. Oh, gosh. Anything else?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Taylor, anything you want to add to the next?
Should we move fire station conveyance over to that meeting?
Probably good call.
Yeah, it'd be good to keep it on the agenda just in case we hear from our lawyer. I'm sorry, not if, when we hear from our lawyer.
Should we look at the police department pilot too? We have moving forward on that? Gonna be the tri-board. I thought we were hoping not to wait for the tri-board, not wait that long.
Oh, I thought,
Oh, we said we are? Okay, we said we are. That's all I can think of.
Jeff,
I have nothing to add.
Wade,
I don't have anything to add.
okay, and thank you, everybody. So, also the next tri-board meeting is gonna be September 29th, 2026, and Taylor has already requested the pilot letter be, on the agenda for that. Any other agenda items for the tri-board meeting? All right.
If maybe fire station conveyance, right, 3 weeks later, once we have the group,
Yeah,
when we have,
it
when
wouldn't,
we're with the Rockingham board.
it wouldn't hurt. We don't need an executive session tonight.
Hold on,
Oh, wait, oh,
how come? I got a question.
yeah,
So we used to, in previous agendas, we had other business at the very end for us.
we did.
Like, we have other business here,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
right. It's
We
like
used to
things
go
got
around,
moved
and
around.
wait, cause I got like 3 things under other business,
Oh,
but there's no spot on here for me to enact that.
well, let's put that on I mean, we can do this today, but let's make sure that the next agenda has other business.
Follow me?
Or maybe did I
Yeah.
just,
We
did
used to have other business.
I just skip it and I didn't ask everybody? Was
No,
that-
it's just not on here.
Well, other
Well, we have it up
businesses,
at 8 now.
It's number 8, it's before-
We used to put all of those under business and then other business was right before adjourn in case we had other stuff. That's fine.
Alex changed that formatting, so we can change it back.
before we get too far down, sir, are you waiting for us to adjourn before you give us your information or?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm gonna give my information to Aaron.
Oh,
Okay.
goodness, I'm sorry, thank you, Sam, for catching, yeah, you don't, like, you're welcome to hang around, but you can just come up and give him a piece of paper.
I'll do that.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm
He's
enjoying.
enjoyed his evening.
I'm sorry, I can't give you this hour and quarter back.
So, did you entertain next tri-board meeting date? Agenda items for that, yeah?
We just
Okay.
finished that
Well,
one.
we're going down here. Stop it, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, what do you? Oh,
Campers at the park and ride and
okay,
trimming all the brush and trees on the banks of the Westminster Street and Rockingham Street and Canal Street. Or Depot, I should say Depot Street. No, Canal Street, Canal Street.
okay. Do you have anything else under other business? You're right, that was like part of our ritual and I totally forgot.
Well,
I'm sorry.
it's down at the bottom,
I'm-
usually, like
yeah.
just before we adjourn.
I know, I was like, something's,
Just like if we had anything like that, though, or, you know,
yeah,
yeah, under other business.
Okay.
So, huh?
Yep.
You can count, you can add to it.
No, go ahead.
So what are we at now? What are we doing now?
Well, I think we're going back to other business, aren't we?
Okay,
Yeah,
you start with me.
I think you have something to say, don't you?
No, I just was gonna mention that under other business, I just had been contacted and I know the manager's probably aware of this, working with the fire chief, but I did have, which I don't often get, but I did have, somebody follow up with me about the situation that's been going on at 33 Green Street. Then a couple of the neighbors were like looking to, like a lot of some of the other ones, just kind of like, is there any progress being made, or what's our there's the neighbors are concerned about what's going on there, the activity and different things that have been coming and going and things of that nature. So I do know that the health officers dealing with it or working on it.
Mhm.
I believe the manager is probably aware of it, but I told the folks there that contacted me that I'd bring it up and try to get it on our radar,
Okay.
or their radar. So,
Is this something that you want to put on a future agenda and invite some
No.
people to discuss, or you
No.
just
I
wanna?
just wanna get it out there that, in addition to them knowing about it, they actually looped me in,
Mhm.
and I told them that I would
Yeah,
bring it up.
I received an email as well regarding that property.
Okay,
So I think it's not something to put on the agenda, it's that the neighbors are frustrated with the process, as often happens with these properties, and legally we're in a pickle as far as, or our hands are tied as far as what we can do as a municipality.
Mhm.
So there's a process that needs to happen, and as trustees, I don't know that there's anything that we can add other than to mention that it is a nuisance and people are contacting us. It's similar to, well, has some similarities to One Center Street, I think, but
Mhm.
different issues and
Right.
different ownership stuff.
Okay,
So,
yeah, thank you.
There's a pretty significant update. We received all of the documents from the court. So the sheriff was provided with
this is for,
33 Green
okay,
Street,
yeah, thank you.
and I believe that's a foreclosure.
That's my understanding.
So
Yeah.
I think that made it a little bit more straightforward. And the court has finally come out with all the things that the sheriff needs to do in order to take the property for the bank. And that was all served, and there's a certain number of days that have to transpire now. I'm trying to find out what that's gonna be.
Is it a writ of possession?
Yeah,
14 days,
14 days, yeah.
A lot.
It's a writ of possession, so.
which is a court document that allows the sheriff to empty the property.
Shut them down.
It's a judgment order for ejectment, so
Wow.
on 8/12, so 14 days would be 8/26.
26.
But we're not quite there yet.
Is the 26th on the weekend though?
I think
Today's the
it's for- it's in
18th.
I
school.
love having a lawyer on the board.
Might have executed a few of those. Yeah, so I would plan on the 27th. I do the.
So it sounds like there's some progress being made.
I would say it's probably a fair statement.
Thank you, everyone. Wait, anything else?
So
Mr. Dunbar,
No, thank you.
Taylor,
Nothing.
Ms. Snow,
No, thank you.
and I have nothing. I wanna make sure that we covered, wait, did you have anything you wanted to add to the tri-board meeting other than the things that we've already added?
no,
Okay,
I'm good.
all right. Does anyone else have other tri-board agenda
No, I don't think
additions?
so.
All right. Well, there's still time to collect them in case anybody thinks of anything. We don't have an executive session. It looks like we have no further business before this board.
I move that we adjourn.
Taylor made a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Sam seconded. All in favor of adjourning this meeting indicate by saying aye. Aye. That sounds unanimous. I am adjourning this meeting at 7:24. We're done. Thanks, everybody.
Recording stopped.
That used to be Phil wasn't there for when,